When last we left the Phoenix States, Operation Sundance had been carried out as a means to achieve aerial supremacy. And now it has achieved enough success to proceed with Phase 2 of the plan, Operation Gatecrasher. However, the enemy has managed to preempt it with an offensive of their own. Say what you will about them, but these invaders were nothing if not persistent. Captain Talia Silver cursed to herself as bullets crashed against the embankment she and her troops took cover behind. Though she was certain it was not intentional, these scrapers have preempted the planned attacks comprising Operation Gatecrasher with a renewed attack of their own. Hordes of soldiers clad in orange armor rushed forward, supported by withering artillery fire responsible for the majority of our unit's current casualties. Rifles and Charlie guns barked out in response to this attack, tearing down hundreds of them. But thousands kept coming, even as the 17th Mech Brigade added their own guns to the fusillade. Slowly, minute by minute, the enemy was able to push towards their lines until the tide crashed against their bulwark. Fighting descended into a chaotic melee. The Fennoian soldiers plunged bayonets into flesh or used the butts of their guns as clubs, while their foes swung widely with their own guns, rocks, or anything else they could get their hands on. Though the more well-equipped among them activated plasma blades, which tore through Fennoian gear and soldier alike like a hot knife through butter. The anti-personnel guns of the 17th were a boon to the Fennoian defenders, though, as bullets cut enemy soldiers to ribbons. But the tide continued to press forward, even as the captain was engaged by one of the more elite enemies, barely dodging one of their searing hot blades as she drew her pistol on her assailant, unloading the mag at point-blank range. The armored fighter dropped dead from the assault, but before the captain was able to reload, the pistol was shot out of her hand, courtesy of an enemy trooper who was promptly killed by a nearby Hellfighter mech. The close-quarters fighting continued for what seemed like forever, with the air being pierced by the clanging of weapons, the thunder of machine guns, the battle cries of soldiers, and the screams of the dying. But then, the assault began breaking, as enemy soldiers began trickling back to their own lines. At first, it was handfuls at a time, but as artillery batteries finally joined in, the entire force fell back in a disorganized rout, each soldier caring only about getting themselves to safety, which only served to create a massacre. Finally, there was room to breathe, a chance to reorganize and gather the wounded, something that was quickly attended to, as several medics and field surgeons began their own operations. Those who couldn't be evacuated were patched up where they lay, as others were carried out on stretchers. The dead were removed from the positions they once held and set aside, for there was no time for proper funeral rites. In the chaotic jumble of the cleanup, Talia could spot one of her runners heading towards her. The one she sent to inform General Harper of the situation in particular. A brief exchange of greetings was given before he delivered his report. "I bring some bad news, ma'am. General Harper is badly wounded. He got hit just after the fighting started. So command ended up falling to Colonel Hickson. But Hickson is dead. So it instead fell to Colonel Novak. But she's dead as well. And so... Just skip to the end. Who is in command now?" "That would be you, ma'am." Well, that was a development she was not expecting to hear. But before she could dwell on it for long, another runner showed up. This one looking completely out of breath and having a panicked look on his face. No reinforcements can be spared, ma'am. I even went all the way to the 30th Corps on the center lines. Every last one of them says they got troubles of their own. Damn it, damn it, damn it! Are we at least at decent strength? Her second in command, Sergeant Lothric Knox, was the one to respond to this question. I'm afraid not, ma'am. It appears that the majority are wounded. If they come back any stronger, I don't think we can stop them. But though nobody said it out loud, they all knew that they had to try. But they took solace in the fact that at least the enemy was as badly mauled as they were. That is, ignoring the fresh troops about to arrive. And that concludes this entry of the Battle of 100 Legions. If you enjoy this kind of content, then be sure to leave a like, a comment for the algorithm, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. I post stories on a weekly basis. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next week.